So even though I talked about this a little bit, let's go ahead and dive into it. Why is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu awesome, right?
Yeah.
So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is all about technique, right? Technique to allow the smaller guy to beat up the bigger guy, essentially. And if you're a bigger guy with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the smaller guy's just screwed. No, I'm joking. What you want is you want to utilize technique will win over strength and speed every single time, period. So a small guy like me can often do a pretty good job defending himself or even being offensive in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu match against someone who's much bigger than me. It's because I'm utilizing that mechanical advantage, that technique to get me from position to submission in a way that doesn't use a lot of strength and doesn't use a lot of speed, right? Strength and speed will have its technique and will have its place in Jiu-Jitsu when like I say, the time and place is appropriate. However, 90-something% of Jiu-Jitsu, I don't know, I'm making up a percentage, right, is based around being in that advantage of technique. And I can't stress that enough. I'm going to say that a million times and find different ways of claiming it, but the founders of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu weren't necessarily huge guys, big ripped guys. They were people who found the science of grappling and submission grappling, that they used it to their advantage so the smaller opponent can win. So when you're doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I want you to relax, right? Don't put yourself in a fight or flight state. Relax, focus on the technique, focus on flowing, right? That's what's gonna win in the long run. A lot of bigger guys who are strong will rely on that strength and speed to get from position to position. And even though that they're kind of winning at the beginning because they're preventing other people from moving with their strength and their power, they're losing in the long run because they're not learning Jiu-Jitsu. By the time those people get to purple belt, you can see they hit a solid wall, right? A solid wall where they don't advance anymore because they are forced to realize that the technique was more important than winning the position at the time. And what I mean by that is they use their strength, power, and speed to get to the position rather than technique to get to the position, right? And when they get to purple belt and that's not working, right? A tiny purple belt beats up a big guy who's trying to use power. It's kind of a punch to the face, right? And all the smaller people who couldn't rely on speed and power, right? They had to rely on technique. Their game is that much further along because they've been developing their technique from the beginning. Right? So this is all about mechanical advantage and technique. And I want you to focus on that. I don't want you to focus on speed. And it's okay if you lose, right? Let's say you're trying technique and someone overpowers you and you get pinned down. That's fine. Focus on the technique. Advance your technique. That's what's going to benefit you in the long run.